Hey guys, Retro Reviews here again with another Transformers Cybertron video review. This time I'm taking a look at the Galaxy Force version of Vector Prime. Not the Cybertron Galaxy Force Vector Prime, but the Japanese Takara Vector Prime release. I had to make that distinction because there was a release of Vector Prime in the United States, or in the Hasbro markets, as Galaxy Force Vector Prime, where he sported this black on gold color. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew this is the Takara release. And first thing off the bat I want to say about this release is I love the colors. Now, I actually wanted this one as opposed to the United States Hasbro release because of the colors. There's a lot more gold detail on this one than on the other one for the cogs and everything. There's also burgundy, where the Hasbro release used brown, and this gray that the figure is mostly cast in is white on the the Hasbro release. Also, the solar panels on the Hasbro release were rubbery plastic. Now these are rubbery plastic too, but they're a little bit stiffer compared to the Hasbro release, and they also have the trim around them painted in burgundy as well. Coming underneath the jet here, we get these nice little cannons, little radar dish, and sensor relay. And then, yeah, just cogs all over this guy. So, if you did not know, Vector Prime was established as part of the original 13 Transformers that Primus made to defeat Unicron. And this Vector Prime was the guardian of space and time. So that's why he's got all these clocks, or all these cogs in here. It kind of like he is a clockwork machine. So I do really like that touch. And at the time when they created this character, he wasn't really associated with that whole original 13 concept just yet. So, but I do like the way how that got kind of retconned into his design, basically. Now, I don't know what else to say about this jet mode. Well, it's not necessarily a jet, really. It's a spaceship, a starcraft. We do get a nice little bridge area right here. And we do get a firing missile that's really only good for this mode, which is this little guy right here. And so you just push this little tab and the missile fires off. We also do have this recessed area right here, which comes in play when we incorporate the included Minicon Safeguard, who just plugs in right there and kind of just adds some additional firepower to this mode. So I'm gonna go ahead and just remove him for now, and I guess I can go ahead and transform him, just show how to transform him real quick. Just folding the legs down and straighten them out, fold the feet out, and fold the, I want to say nose cone, but that's also, it's more of a barrel to a gun, so just fold that down. So he's very Target Master-esque. And just go ahead and take a look at him real quick. Some nice detail. I like the chest design and his head. Very Minimus Ambus style, kinda. I like that. Articulation-wise, pretty well articulated for a Minicon. We've got, unfortunately, nothing in the head, but we do have 360 degree rotation in the shoulder, as well as a ball joint that will allow us to bend up 90 degrees. Unfortunately, just cut in a weird way where we get very minimal rotation out of it, side to side rotation. We also get no waist articulation, but the hips will allow for a front kick that far. And if we get the backpack out of the way, it can kick all the way farther back. And we get the knees and the toes can bend. So all nice little articulation for such a little guy. And we also do get the cyber key or force chip in this sense for Vector Prime. Now this is a very unique key. We get this massive gear shape to it with 5 little bubbles. And I can't tell if anything is molded in this little bubble, but we get the symbols of each of the colony planets where the other cyber planet keys are located. So we get Earth, Speedia, the jungle planet that I can never remember its name, and Gigantian. And unlike other cyber planet keys where it's hollow on the back, like this one here, we get this plate that has this data chip texture to it and an Autobot symbol molded in. Now, unfortunately, on the Hasbro release, there would be a code tampographed on here, and none of this silver paint around the key was on there. This is one of the 3, I think there was 3 Cyber Planet keys that were released in the Hasbro market that didn't have any border paint on it. And yeah, it was Optimus, Rainsack, and this one. Everything else kept the same paint on it that the Takara releases had. So yeah, unfortunately there's nothing or that's like the biggest downside on the Hasbro release, aside from the colors being wildly inaccurate, just brighter and more eye-catching, honestly. Now there is a place to plug in the cyber key, but in this mode it is very useless. All it does, well, this just activates a sound, and the sound it coordinates with the right arm. So we'll focus on the cyber key gimmick when we get into robot mode, and we'll go ahead and do that right now after we do the size comparison. Go ahead and take a look at him compared next to the Voyager Optimus Prime from Siege, and as you can see, he is quite a deal bigger. So yeah, this guy is pretty big for a Voyager class, especially when you compare him to a modern day Voyager class figure. So now onto the transformation. I'm going to go ahead first, rotate the legs and straighten them all the way out. Take the feet and rotate them forward. Then we can stand them up. Move our camera up. Come along to back here, and we can fold the solar panels up, and then we're going to fold them to the back or down along his back like so, and then we're going to take the entire front section of his StarCraft mode and bring that down. Next we're going to rotate the head around, and we're going to fold the shoulders shoulder pads up, unpeg the arms from the sides, and slide these gauntlets up. And there we have the mighty Vector Prime in his robot mode. Now, the colors being much more accurate in this release definitely shows off here. I love the way these colors look. And just get it up a little bit higher so we can zoom in and take a look at that head sculpt, which is a very nice head sculpt. I do like this a lot. It looks really, really nice and detailed. We've got some nice gold paint up here on the crest, some silver paint along the cheekbones of his helmet, and then this really nice metallic blue for his face and bright red eyes. That looks really nice. Now, I wish I did have an American Hasbro release to showcase side by side just how the colors are different, but unfortunately I'm only going to buy this guy once, so that'll be it. Now, detail wise, aside from that, we don't get really that much anything new. Definitely everything that was seen in vehicle mode is visible here in robot mode. The only exception is that there's a little bit more cog detail in the forearm pieces here. And even though these parts are cast in burgundy plastic, it is still coming off as brown on my camera, which I'm sure will fix itself post-production, but right now that is looking very brown on my camera. The metallic burgundy paint still looks burgundy, so that's just funny. But I do like these little red orbs here painted on there. Now, articulation wise, he does have a pretty decent amount of articulation. We do get, thanks to the transformation, a 360 degree rotation at the neck. We get there's the sound effect, 360 degree rotation at the shoulders, which would get hindered by this to go all the way around. But then we also do get ratcheting outwards, and then we get a ratchet at the elbow, and a swivel just below the elbow, which I really would have liked if it was cut up here and given a bicep swivel instead of an elbow swivel, but that still works, especially when we incorporate his accessories later. I really wish that was a bicep cut. But we also get these skirt pieces that fold out. And because of the backpack, he can't move his legs backwards, but he can definitely move them all the way forward like so. And he can move them out that far. And we get a swivel just above the knee and more than 90 degree bend out of the knee. And thanks to the transformation, we can bend the toe down, but we can't bend it up. So it kind of won't work in very many poses. Also, you can pose the backpack however you'd like. You can extend it out a little ways to kind of get more of a flared cape look. I'm going to have it lowered down, and you can also get these things going however you want. You can also have everything clean and tidy up along the side of the back. But I like the silhouette of the cape. I'm going to keep it down here so it's kind of a little clean and tidy for a cape. Now, for accessories, aside from the Minicon and Force chip that we looked at earlier, well, first for safeguard, we can go ahead and transform him back into his jet mode, and he can actually rest. He usually did this in the show where he would rest on Vector Prime's left arm and form an arm cannon for him. But then if we also come back here and see how we have the two little wings along the side, this one can actually detach and form his sword. And that will just plug into his hand like so. Makes no sense to make a firing sound with a sword. But also, that is where the cyber key gimmick comes into play. So with the cyber key gimmick, as you heard the normal sound effect go for his arm, if we plug in the cyber key, we get that charge up sound effect, which goes on for a little while and then just stops. And then when we move the arm up, it continues. And yeah, you have to leave the key in, otherwise if you start up the sound effect and remove the key, the arm just makes the regular noise that it makes. It doesn't do the new blast and explosion. But also, take a look at the detail on the sword. I really do like the detail on this a lot. I wish I had another one of these that I can have painted to look like it did in the show, but I'm not going to do that to this one. Mostly also because this is a very hard to find Japanese release. The Takara version, I mean, even the United States release is pretty hard to come by too, getting it complete. And I don't want to mess up this sword, even though it does have a little bit of scuff marks, but that's just from the from getting put away in its storage location. But also, I do like the hilt here. Has this nice little wing-tipped shape going on here for the crossguard, and then just some really nice etchings and this really cool V shape, which I'm going to assume is for Vector Prime. And then just go ahead and store it back away. And there we have that. Now, size comparison. Go ahead and put him up next to the Siege Ultra Magnus Unarmored. And you can see, again, yeah, he is pretty big compared to the Siege Optimus mold. He's a lot bigger than a modern day Voyager. And I just wanted to showcase this because both of these guys were released in the United States market. This with colors more representative of the Conehead thrust, and this just being a more garish white and brown as opposed to gray and burgundy. So these guys were released in the United States together as a 2-pack. So I wanted to showcase them side by side too, just because we also get a pretty good rendition of a Voyager, of 2 Voyagers from the same time period, side by side. And go ahead and get him up next to Optimus. Now, I want to try to get the rest of the Team Prime out here, so give me a second. I did not think about this part through. I'm only going to do Team Prime as they first arrived on Earth of what I have so far. So, overhaul. Red alert. And then a scatter shot needs transformed. So definitely Vector Prime, either Hasbro or Takara releases is a good buy. I would definitely prefer getting the Takara release over the Hasbro release just because of the colors being more accurate, and also because of the cyber key for the Hasbro release being unpainted. So if the colors don't bother you and the key not being colored doesn't bother you, then I would go ahead and try to pick up the US release. Otherwise, if you could find it for a good price, I wouldn't mind hunting down the Japanese release. Now, I got extremely lucky with my Japanese release, where it cost me a lot less to get mine than it would cost me to get an American release. And mine actually also came with it came unopened. So yeah, I got this for a lot cheaper in sealed box than I would have gotten a loose US release one. Which this one is in much more demand and it's harder to get. So I got really lucky with mine. So yeah, if you could find the Japanese one for a really good price, I would suggest picking it up. But if you can stand having the colors a little bit inaccurate, then I would go ahead and pick up the United States release as well. Or alternatively. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I have to really say about this figure. Yeah, anyways, this has been Rancher Reviews. I hope you guys like this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.